What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Andy Ruiz Jr., former unified heavyweight champion, is looking to get back on the winning ways as he takes on Chris Arreola. This will be announced tomorrow night on the PBC on Fox telecast, featuring two welterweight contenders, Thomas Delorme versus Jamal James. Now, I heard this through the grapevine, just like I heard about the Luis King Kong Ortiz matchup with Robert Helenius. These fights will be announced tomorrow night. You heard it here first on JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend YouTube channel. I'm always on the cutting edge of breaking these fights before anybody else announces them. And you're hearing it here first. Chris Arreola versus Andy Ruiz Jr., as Andy Ruiz Jr. will be looking to get a win and get back on the winning ways and look for a big fight after this. Now, Andy Ruiz has changed trainers. He got rid of Manny Robles and he brought on Eddie Reynoso. That's the same guy that trains Canelo Alvarez. He's been working and training alongside Canelo Alvarez, as Canelo Alvarez is going to fight somewhere toward the fall, winter of 2020, also along with Chris Arreola. Some of the videos I've been watching, he's been looking very sharp. You never question a guy's hand speed. He's got hand speed of a middleweight. Guy's got quick, fast hands. He's a guy that has a great left hook, great right hook too. He's a very good hooker. You know, Anthony Joshua made that fatal mistake in the first fight when he was upset by Andy Ruiz. You know, you never want to hook with a hooker, and that's what Anthony Joshua did. And that was the reason why he lost that fight. That was his downfall. Now, in the rematch, Andy Ruiz came in grossly out of shape. Wasn't able to cut the ring off, and he was able to lose that fight via unanimous decision as Anthony Joshua pulled out the old Vladimir Klitschko playbook: jab and grab, jab and grab, jab and grab, never engaged, and he was able to use his God-given abilities to beat Anthony Ruiz. You know, he was a taller fighter. He fought tall in the rematch. And AJ used the jab. You know, occasionally was able to catch him with the right hand. And I think the right hand was what cut Andy Ruiz. But I felt Anthony Joshua was not active enough, and it was just a boring fight. But he did what he had to do to get the win. And again, Andy Ruiz came in that fight grossly out of shape, was partying, you know, resting on his laurels, and got fat and happy, literally fat and happy. And that's how he lost his belt to Anthony Joshua. Now, if he comes back into this fight in a serious mindset, in shape, and from what I'm seeing on the video, it looks like he's taking this his training very seriously, and he's more motivated, I think he should beat Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola is a guy that's been on the heavyweight scene really the last 10 years, and he's fought a lot of good fighters. You know, he lost to Vitaly Klitschko. He was actually the first Latino heavyweight to fight for a world title, and he came up short against Vitaly Klitschko. Lost that fight, a unanimous decision. Cried after the fight, was upset. He felt he let his people down and came up short. But he got a chance to fight for another title when he fought Bermane Stiverne in that matchup. Was upset by Bermane Stiverne. It was knocked out in that fight. Had a chance to win a title in that fight. Fought the rematch. And actually was winning the rematch against Bermane Stiverne. Was winning the fight, but got caught and ended up getting knocked out in the rematch. Now, since then, he's fought Seth Mitchell. You remember Seth Mitchell? Glass jaw Seth Mitchell. Chandelier glass jaw Seth Mitchell, the former football player. Well, he was undefeated, Seth Mitchell, going into the fight with Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola was able to stop him. He fought Eric Molina. He fought Thomas Adamy. That was a very exciting fight. You know, Thomas Adamy was a former cruiserweight champion moving up to heavyweight. And that was a very exciting fight. Chris Arreola didn't come in that fight in a proper condition himself. Came in that fight out of shape, and I don't think he was expecting Thomas Adamy to put up a fight that he put up. He ended up losing that fight on a decision. So he's fought a lot of people, man. He's fought a lot of people. He's fought, who else he's fought? He's fought Deontay Wilder in that fight. Deontay Wilder dominated that fight. Deontay Wilder ended up hurting his arm in that fight. I think he ended up having surgery at that fight. So he hurt it like early in that fight. So he fought like the last several rounds with one hand. and still was able to defeat Chris Arreola very easily. End up stopping Chris Arreola in the second half of that fight. So Chris Arreola has been around the block. He's been in a lot of fights, got a lot of experience. His last fight, he put up a very good showing against Adam Kanaki. Had a, that fight was a very good toe-to-toe phone booth type of fight. Both guys landed their punches. It was like a rock'em sock'em robot type of fight, and he held a good account of himself. Came up short, basically fought Adam Kanaki in his backyard of Brooklyn, New York, the Barclays Center, in front of a pro-Polish crowd, and to put up a good showing. After he left the ring, leaving that fight, a lot of the Adam Kanaki fans were shaking his hands, congratulating him for a good performance, even though he came up short in that fight. So he's coming off a good performance. Sometimes you can lose and still win. You can lose a fight, but put on a good performance and set yourself up for another significant fight. And that's what Chris Arreola was able to do after the loss of Adam Kanaki. Now you see him taking on Andy Ruiz Jr. I think the difference in this fight will be Andy Ruiz's hand speed. He'll be able to get off quicker, be able to land his punches at a more sustained and quicker pace. I think Chris Arreola, what need to do is actually cut the ring off and try to back Andy Ruiz on the ropes, and then try to maul him up on the ropes, and then go to the body and just use his size advantage over Andy Ruiz. Both guys are pretty big, big guys, but I think Andy Ruiz is a taller fighter, so he can kind of use the jab to get inside Chris Arreola. Use the jab to back up Andy Ruiz, and then get him up against the ropes, and then go to the body and try to break down Andy Ruiz, who, even if he does come into this fight in good shape like he came in the Anthony Joshua first fight, Andy Ruiz is a guy that, he's a guy that has a big midsection. He's a belly man. He's a belly rubber. So Arreola will be smart of him to go down to the body and try to break down Andy Ruiz, because I don't think Andy Ruiz is going to be like those body shots at all if Arreola applies the pressure and gets off those body shots. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. Both guys are from the California, so it's going to be bragging rights. Both guys are from the West California. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Arreola is from Oxnard, California, or right outside of L.A., and I think Andy Ruiz Jr. is right outside of L.A. too, maybe Riverside or something. Both guys are in the greater L.A. area, so it's going to be for bragging rights. So both guys are going to come to fight, and both guys are going to come to win. This is going to be a good fight that's going to take place in Microsoft Theater, Los Angeles, California. This fight will be announced tomorrow night on Fox, again doing a telecast of Jamal James versus Thomas Delorme, which is low-key a fight of the year candidate. This is going to be a good fight tomorrow night, and I advise you guys to watch it, man. These guys don't have the biggest names in boxing, but both guys are good fighters. They're not, Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. or Manny Pacquiao. They're not at the top of the welterweight division, but they're very good, solid fighters that are looking to get a win and get a step closer to fighting for a world title. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But that's why I'm here, man. Andy Ruiz, a.k.a. the Michelin Man, is fighting Chris Arreola in a good, action-packed, fan-friendly fight, man, that's going to take place and will be announced tomorrow night. Again, you heard it here first on JB Sports. I get you the breaking news before any other YouTube channel give you the breaking news of these upcoming fights. Just like I let you know about the Luis King Kong Ortiz versus Robert Helenius fight that's going to be announced tomorrow night. Let me know what you think about Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola. I think Andy Ruiz wins this fight. I think I don't think he gets the knockout. Chris Arreola has a strong chin. I think Andy Ruiz wins unanimous decision. I just think he's gonna be able to get off his combinations first. I think he's got enough power to that Chris Arreola will have to respect that, and Chris Arreola will be hesitant at times to come forward and try to back up Andy Ruiz and get him up on the ropes where he can do damage. I think Andy Ruiz will get his respect early on in that fight. Therefore, kind of decrease his ambition to come forward and back up Andy Ruiz and cut the ring off and get him up against the ropes. I think his mentality will be shaken by the fast and accurate punching power of Andy Ruiz. So I'm looking for him to win a decision fight. But Chris Arreola will have his moments. Like I said, he's a guy, he's a dog. He's got an underrated jab, and he's a good body puncher, and he's got a good right hand. If he gets that right hand off and lands on Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz doesn't have the best of defense. If he's able to land that right hand on Andy Ruiz, he could pull the upset. But I'm looking for Andy Ruiz, who to me is the more skilled, the better fighter, the faster hands. And I'm looking for him. Even Andy Ruiz, I think he's got the smarter boxing IQ. I'm looking for him to win this fight against Chris Arreola in a fan-friendly, fun, action-packed fight that's going to take place in the second half of 2020. That will be announced tomorrow night on the PBC on Fox telecast. Let me know what you think, who you got in this fight. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Chris Arreola. Let me know who you think is going to win this fight. If it's going to be a knockout or is it going to go to the judges' cards. Let me know what you think. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I'll holla.